Really sit through that whole case and kept your spirits high. I really like that for y'all. That looks great. Keep your spirits up, y'all.
The courtroom didn't just go quiet. It felt like the entire space was holding its breath. At the center, under the harsh overhead lights, stood a young woman with everything to lose and even more to say. Inside the Manhattan Federal Courthouse, the air felt heavy. It wasn't only tense. It carried the weight of a story that could change everything. This day was different. This wasn't just another legal proceeding in Diddy's ongoing court battles. For the first time, someone who had been close to him, not as a professional, not as a friend, not as a journalist, was stepping onto the witness stand. It was his daughter, Chance Combs. Chance's testimony wasn't about the glitz, the awards, or the empire. It wasn't about the fame or the fortune. This was about family, truth, and exposure of life behind the cameras. The courtroom was packed. Reporters lined the walls, notepads open, cameras clicking. Artists sketched hurriedly from the back.
Hey, yo, I'ma let y'all know, my daughter's my date. I've been in love with her for 15 years, and she's my date. She looks so beautiful, so elegant. You look like black elegance, girl. For real. You queen. Best date ever. You can enjoy it for now, right? Yeah. In the vibe, like we in a movie or something.
Every eye was on her. And then, as Chance entered, everything else faded into silence. She moved slowly, each step measured, each breath steady toward the stand. Her heart hammered in her chest. She felt it in her throat and in her hands. Yet, on the surface, she looked calm, composed. She wore a charcoal pantsuit, simple and professional. No glimmering jewelry, no designer labels, no flashy heels. Her hair was tied back in a plain ponytail. This wasn't fashion. It was a message, a statement of seriousness. For years, Chance had been invisible in her father's world. She existed as a symbol, a background character in the show of his life. A carefully curated figure of innocence frozen in red carpet photos and social media posts. But today, she wasn't stepping into a role or performing for an audience.
My name's Ava. I'm a Scorpio.
No. What's your last name?
Ava Combs.
What's your other last name?
Ava Baroni.
Eva Baroni Combs? Yes, it was breaking news. Diddy adopted a white child.
This was about truth, the end of silence. She had thought long and hard about this moment. She had considered her sister Ava, her friend Cassie, and Mia, the former assistant who had bravely shared her own experiences. And she had thought about herself, about the version of herself she had to become to survive in that world. Now, that version was ready to speak. When she reached the stand, she wasn't only facing the people in the courtroom, she was confronting years of secrets, half-truths, and hidden pain. She wasn't merely walking onto a witness stand, she was stepping out of the shadow of a man who had shaped her entire childhood. The questioning began slowly, carefully. Name, age, relationship to the defendant. But then came the one question that would open everything.
2, 3.
I'm not lying. Oh, they beautiful.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it. It was really nice meeting you guys.
Can you describe what life was like inside Mr. Combs' household? Chance paused. She inhaled, held the silence for a moment, then began. Her voice was calm, controlled, but every word carried weight. It was its own world, she said, a fortress of luxury, but also of control. On the outside, everything looked perfect. Mansions in Los Angeles, estates in Miami Beach, a penthouse in New York. But for me and my sister Ava, it wasn't home. It was a set. Every detail was directed, every interaction planned. She explained how school wasn't normal, how friends were limited, and how teachers were carefully selected. She recounted a story about a girl named Chloe she had met at a charity event.
Know that your wife
Did
got
this.
urinated on and then found this out in court.
It's a lot.
Could you handle that?
But let me tell you, not only because he had left, he was in the back of the court and then he went. I think they took up to like a back room. But the girl, you know,
Diddy's
all the
kids.
Diddy kids are there,
Yeah.
right? So his daughters are there. I was sitting behind them. It was awkward for me to watch them have to listen to all of this. After he started, the male Esther started getting into a lot of the masturbation and stuff. They got up and left.
Who told him to leave? Did he say leave or?
No, Diddy didn't tell them to leave. I don't know if there was a conversation or not. I looked up from writing and I saw them get up, so I don't know. But I know that they were like checking on each other throughout. I saw them ask like Christian at one point, like, "You okay?"
They had exchanged numbers and planned to spend time together, only for it all to be stopped. Chance later discovered Chloe's parents were told her schedule was too full for distractions. Even their public appearances were controlled. Every red carpet smile, every spontaneous laugh was rehearsed. Ava's experience mirrored her own. The sisters often whispered about the strangeness of it all, but only to each other. Every room had cameras. Even private thoughts seemed monitored. One day, Chance realized the truth. Her life wasn't hers. It was curated, edited, and marketed. She wasn't living. She was a product. That moment changed everything. But childhood wasn't the only thing stolen. Her voice was silenced too. Chance remembered the day clearly, August 12th, 2015. She was 14, just after her birthday, sitting at home drawing when two men appeared, lawyers she had never seen. They brought her and Ava to the Grand Library, a room filled with untouched, leather-bound books. They handed the girls documents, telling them it was routine, just a way to protect the family from media exposure. But it wasn't routine. It was a non-disclosure agreement, the kind of legal language a 14-year-old couldn't fully grasp. They said it was for privacy, to avoid paparazzi. But the truth was clear. It was about control. Chance hesitated. She looked at Ava, who was only 13, scared and unsure. Together, they signed. She recalled the feeling. It was a lock on my tongue. They told me it was for my safety, but it wasn't. It was for his. The courtroom was stunned. A child forced to sign away her right to speak, to protect the powerful, not the vulnerable. Prosecutor Evelyn Reed asked, "Did you have legal counsel?" Chance didn't flinch. "No," she said. "My legal counsel was his legal counsel." The message was crystal clear. Protection was a facade. Control was the reality. Her words cut through the room. Chance continued, recounting memories from Miami. She remembered being 15 at a party. The house was crowded, yet she wandered near the private areas. That's when she saw a woman being led toward a back room by a man, with another standing guard at the door. The woman stumbled and protested. Chance froze. One of Diddy's staff, someone she only remembered as T, noticed her watching and calmly told her to return to the main room. That moment haunted her for years. Another memory came up, one that made Ava visibly tense in the gallery. Chance described a time in a studio when Diddy screamed at a young male artist. She couldn't recall all the details, but the artist didn't follow a direction for a song. What started as criticism escalated into verbal abuse. Diddy hurled insults, slammed objects, and the artist eventually left. Shortly after, the artist was dropped. Ava quietly nodded in agreement. Then, the surveillance footage from Cassie was brought up. It showed an altercation in one of Diddy's Los Angeles homes. No faces were clear, but the layout, furniture, and decor were unmistakable. Chance recognized it instantly. Ava wiped away a tear. The girls weren't outsiders. They had lived there. They knew what silence looked like after violence. Recess came, and during the break, Chance whispered to Ava, "You were never alone, and you're not alone now." The courtroom felt the weight of connection, the power of solidarity. Then came the cross-examination. Defense attorney Eleanor Vance tried to dismantle Chance's credibility. You didn't come here for justice. You came for attention. Why now? Chance responded with conviction. I was raised to protect him. I thought silence was loyalty. Vance pressed, pointing out gifts, trips, and luxury. You were pampered. How does that match your story? Chance answered, every gift felt like a chain, something to make me stay quiet, to feel guilty if I questioned him. She said, in that world, love and control were the same thing. Her words stunned everyone. After leaving the stand, the courtroom remained still. Legal analysts called her testimony soft power. Public reactions poured in, heartbreak, anger, disbelief. Social media erupted. People began to connect her story with other accounts, seeing a pattern of control, silence, and abuse. When the session ended, Chance and Ava left holding hands. No cameras, no statements. Just two sisters, united, no longer afraid. The impact of her testimony reached far beyond headlines. It changed perceptions, shifted narratives, and cracked the image of Diddy as a father and mogul. The empire that once seemed untouchable was now being questioned. And for many, this was the moment the truth could no longer be ignored. Chance's courage proved that even the most powerful shadows can be illuminated, and that silence is not strength, it is submission. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Stay tuned. This story is just getting started. See you next time.